let's get started. Today's conversation is entitled Time to Get Personal. It's about personalizing your email program. And my name is Lorraine Ball. I'm going to be your host today. I am a marketing strategist, a podcast host, and an amateur photographer. And so, depending on which social media platform you follow me on, you're likely to see notes about my podcast, notes about marketing, and pictures of pretty waterfalls. But today, it's all about marketing. And it is really, in my mind, great marketing is designed to help you build relationships with your customers, with your strategic partners, and your employees. And let's take a look at some of those numbers. Because marketing is about results. Now, it's great if you're a huge company and you can afford to throw money at an advertising campaign just to build awareness. But if you're a small business owner and you are investing in marketing, you need results. And so, what kind of results? Well, let's take a look. 52% of customers will switch brands if communications aren't personalized. 52%. And so you have an opportunity to create a relationship with a prospective customer, and half the time you won't get that result if you're not sending them personal communication. There is an 11% higher open rate for personalized email. And while that may not sound like a lot if you're only sending out 100 emails, if you have an email list of 1,000 people, that's 110 more people who are opening your emails. If you have 10,000, will you do the math? There is a 27% higher response rate for personalized email. 27%. And so, again, if you're going to the trouble of putting together a campaign, you want to see results, and you are likely to see better results the more personalized your campaign is. And while everybody thinks about personalization just as far as putting someone's name in the subject line, and that is a good start, that's not going to be enough to get this kind of response. You're going to need to do more personalization. Contacts who receive relevant messages spend more money and tell more people. And this is really the crux of personalization. It's not just that you put my name in the subject line. It's that you sent me an email that is relevant to me, that contains information that I need based on what you know about me. Maybe you've segmented your list. Maybe I've signed up for specific information, but the more relevant the information, the more likely I'm going to spend money with you. You have an advantage as a small business. You can have personal relationships with your customers in a way that your larger competitors or just larger companies in general can't. And you need to take advantage of that. Every time you have an interaction or an engagement with a customer, take the opportunity to learn a little bit more about them. And sometimes those engagements and interactions can be surveys, they can be particular types of information they're grabbing from your website. Whatever it is, whatever tools you're using to learn more about your customers, you need to be leveraging that in your email campaigns. So, the days of sending an impersonal email blast are over. You need to stop sending the same email to everyone. One of the things that you'll notice after attending a webinar with me is you're going to get a series of emails that are specific for people who have attended classes. After that, You may, from time to time, get information specifically about email marketing classes because, again, you've participated in this program. So, how do you personalize? Well, the first thing is you want to make it conversational. The days of stuffy corporate emails with lots of third party jargon are over. Your emails need to sound like they're coming from a real person. You want to use words like you and your. Back in my corporate days, and this goes back more than 20 years, I did a lot of writing that talked in vague third person terms. Our customers like this. The corporation does X, Y, and Z. No, don't write like that anymore. Business owners like you. Are you looking for this? We've helped other companies like yours. We've helped homeowners like you. Many women in your community are already using our products. Make it feel like you're talking to me and deliver timely and relevant content. The result? If you do it right, you're going to increase your sales, build relationships, improve customer experiences, and drive repeat business. And let's face it, this is why you send out email to begin with. So, the trick with personalization is to deliver information people need when they need it. Let's start though with the name. And I know that I said that you can't end, that this can't be all you do, but it is important to start with a person's name because to that person, that is the sweetest and most important sound. And that is consistent in every language. Dale Carnegie did the research and discovered that it doesn't matter whether it's Chinese or English or French or Taiwanese or any language. When you hear your name, it's going to catch your attention. When you see your name, it's going to catch your attention. And that's why putting somebody's name in the subject line is so important. When I open up my inbox and I look at all of the email in my inbox, my eye is going to be drawn to this subject because it's my name. When I open the email and I see, again, my name, it feels like you're talking to me. You need to do more than just my name. This is where relevant content comes in. Your technology is changing. Your website's last update was May 24th, 2015. This little bit of variable data makes me feel like you are talking specifically to me. Now, with the right tools, I can send out 1,000 emails that look just like this, and this data will change in all of them. That little bit of personalization catches people's attention and makes them say, wow, they really know me. So, how do you do this? How do you put this together? Well, you start by taking information that you already know and uploading it into your email marketing tool. You want to build a spreadsheet that looks like this: first name, last name, email. Now, why first name and last name in two different columns? Because if you don't, when you go to put in a personal friendly greeting, hey John, it's going to say, hey John Jones. And trust me, that does not feel personal. You want to have their email, and then you want to have some fields with information that's relevant. This was for a heating and air conditioning company, and we had the renewal date and we had the kind of contract that they were They have the kind of contract that they were renewing. What this allowed us to do was send an email, much like the one that you just saw, that said, hey, John, your contract or your furnace service agreement is going to renew on this date. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this with Constant Contact. You can do this with other tools. I just really like the Constant Contact system. And so I'm going to do the demo here. Many of these same rules will work in pretty much any email tool. You have to start with custom fields. So every email newsletter product has got a email, first name, last name, but then you need to create some custom fields. And these are fields that are unique to you and unique to your customers. So for example, I would create a field called contract type. I'd use this little create custom field button right here. And so then I could type in service agreement, furnace agreement, air conditioning agreement. And then I might also either use an existing anniversary date field or create a new date field. Then when I upload my spreadsheet, all the information goes into the right buckets. And what it allows me to do is transform generic emails into personal emails. For example, here's an anniversary email. It's nice. There's a coupon there. And I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. But think about how much more impactful this email could be if instead of just saying 25% off, it said Lorraine 25% off. And it said, hello, Lorraine, right up here. If you're using Constant Contact and you want to add those personal details when you are working on your email, all you need to do is insert. And when you select this insert field, you'll have opportunities to insert a custom field, insert a greeting tag. And so you can actually put your cursor anywhere you want, right here, for example, and now insert the service agreement or the renewal agreement or whatever it is that is unique to that customer. There's even just the general personal greeting tag, and you can have it say hello, first name. And then what do you do if you don't have someone's first name? Well, you can put in a different greeting. On those service agreements, there were some customers, we didn't know what kind of agreement they had. And so we simply had the default be your service agreement instead of your furnace agreement, your air conditioning agreement, whatever it was. And if you don't want anything to appear there, you can just leave this blank. When you insert a field, you will see this. Here we go. You will see this kind of bracket, first name bracket. Whatever appears between the two brackets is the name of that custom field. And so in your draft, you'll see hello, first name, but again, you can have more choices. This is an example of other information that you can drop in. And now when you preview, when you're working on the draft, you see hello, first name, but the finished product drops the names in. I always test my personal emails after I get them set. I always send them to 2 or 3 people just so we can be sure that they're going to look correct every time. You can also personalize the subject lines. And when you're getting ready to send your email, You have your subject line. It's been a year. Here's a treat. Just go ahead and click the little personalized button. Again, put your cursor where you want that, and you can select the first name, the last name, or any other piece of information that you like. This is what allows it to appear this way. So when my email is sent to someone, they see it's from the digital toolbox, and then they see their name. In order to really use personalization, you really need to get to know your customers. Imagine, for example, that you have a bicycle shop, and these are some of your customers. Well, you could send all of them the same generic information, or you could begin to create buckets and segments, knowing that this serious bicycle enthusiast is not going to be interested in a sale on your low end bicycles. But these holiday riders may very well be. And this woman might be interested in joining your bicycle club to meet other riders so she doesn't have to always ride alone. Knowing your customers, knowing what they're interested in, gives you an opportunity to send more information. And so you really want to segment your list. You want to stop looking at a group of people as if they were all the same. They're not. And there are lots of different ways to segment your customers. You can segment based on demographics, measurable data about individuals and companies. You can segment based on location. We have service companies that segment people based on the neighborhoods that they're in, and we run promotions geographically. We're going to be in your neighborhood on Monday. We'll give you a 10% discount if you schedule your service calls on Monday. Why? Because if we can keep the service trucks in a smaller radius, they can move from job to job faster, and it's more profitable than driving back and forth all over town. You can also segment on buyer behavior. How often do they buy? What products do they buy? But let's take a quick look at demographics. Age, education, family status. Are they married? Are they single? Are they homeowners? And what you want to do is kind of put a face on those segments. This is a model that we used to really talk about something as simple as soap. Soap is soap, right? Well, maybe yes and maybe no, because these four people have very different needs when it comes to soap. The young boy, he wants to make sure when he's done playing basketball that he doesn't smell. The new mom is concerned about purity. She's concerned about maybe cost effectiveness, but she's also concerned that the soap isn't going to be too harsh for her new baby. The third woman is at a point in her life where maybe she's a little more concerned about moisturizers. And so she wants soaps that have a little bit more moisture in it. And the last gentleman, well, he's my lava soap guy. He works hard, he gets dirty. By putting individual faces on your customer segments, not everybody in the segment looks like her, but if she's the poster child, it's easier to write relevant, informative content for your newsletters, and it's more likely to catch their attention and drive sales. But you have to be careful when you're looking at demographics, because sometimes demographics don't tell the whole story. Imagine for a moment that these two brothers, well, they're clearly brothers, but imagine for a moment that these two brothers are both lawyers. They both went to law school, they're both married, and on paper, they look very much the same. They have similar jobs, they have similar education and marital status. However, The brother on the left is married to his childhood sweetheart, and their youngest child is graduating college next year. They're planning that long overdue European vacation. He's going to trade in their Dodge minivan for that two-seater Audi he always wanted. The brother on the right, well, he's married too, to his second wife, who is much younger and has just told him she's pregnant. His world is nothing like his brother's world. He's going to be interested in saving for college, vacations to Disneyland, and buying that Dodge minivan. And so you need to look not just at the demographics of your customers, but the psychographics, the things that are going on in their lives and where they are in their lives and in their businesses. And this is true even if you have B2B customers. When I worked in corporate, I worked with a lot of independent heating and air conditioning contractors. And on paper, again, they all looked alike. But the truth was that two companies might be in very different communities. They might be side by side in the same community with very different customer bases or cash flow situations or decisions about how much longer they wanted to be in the business. And so if I would send them the same information and the same messages, only one of them, if I was lucky, one of them might care about what I was going to say. And so you need to look at more than just the numbers. You need to look at how do they use your product? How often do they buy it? What is their attitude? Because again, you have some customers who are raving fans and they want to hear from you all the time. And they are different than the casual user. And you can burn out the casual user or disappoint the raving fan if you treat them all the same. When you're thinking about business to business demographics, think about years in business, what industry they're in, the size of the company, how long they've been in business, and where they are. And these same criteria, just as you might segment your consumers, will allow you to divide your customers. When I first started the business, I realized very early on that I had a couple of niches. One was because I'd come out of the heating and air conditioning business. I did very well with companies in the home service industry. 20 years later, that is still my sweet spot. Over the years, I've developed a real niche in restaurant and retail, as well as in professional service industries. And so, again, when I run into new companies and new customers, I look to see what buckets they fit in to see what information might be relevant for them. You want to make your customers feel special. And so, again, the more you know about them, for example, a birthday club, or time to renew your membership. But I want to talk about the club idea for a minute. I worked with a florist who I thought had a brilliant strategy. She did a lot of weddings and she would get the email address of all the grooms. She had a spreadsheet that told her when their wedding day was. And so she sent the groom an email one day before his 1 month anniversary, 6 month anniversary, and 1 year anniversary. Hey, congratulations, you've been married for a insert month, 6 months, year. Tell that lovely bride you'd marry her all over again and by sending her this bouquet of flowers. Did she sell flowers every time she sent that email? Well, Not every groom bought flowers at 1 month, 6 months, and a year, but she sold a whole lot more flowers than she would have had she not sent those reminders. They were so popular that a lot of the grooms asked her to send them an annual reminder, as well as a reminder for his wife's email, maybe his mother's email, his mother's birthday and his wife's birthday, because now he would get an email that said, "Hey, it's your mother's birthday. Do you want to send her these flowers?" And all he had to do was click the button, because as soon as he responded, she already had his credit card. She already had his mailing address. He didn't have to fill out anything. That made those customers feel valued and special. And did they pay a premium for those flowers? Oh, yeah. Did they care? Not at all. And then, if you are running any kind of business with a membership, you want to make sure that you send out maybe not even just one, but 2 or 3 reminders as your renewal dates are coming up. You also want to give people an opportunity to tell you what are they interested in. And again, Constant Contact has got this lovely feature called click segmentation that makes it really easy. For example, this yoga class. Please tell us which classes you want to attend. If they click any one of these buttons, they're automatically added to a list for that class. Here's the 3 lists, and you can see as they click on it, they're going to get added to one or the other. You can also invite people to manually update their profile. This is still a little wonky in Constant Contact, because if they want to do it, they actually have to find their update your profile info all the way down here. You can't really put that link in the body. But when they do click it, it takes them to a page that looks like this, and they can again update their information and select the list they want to be included in. You can also learn more through surveys. You can't do this very often, but every now and then sending a client, a customer, in this case, it was volunteers at Hearts and Tails Animal Rescue, to find out, when do you want to work? How often do you want to work? Now they know when to send them reminders to sign up. And again, as soon as they fill out the survey, you can create the different lists, and then monthly volunteers only get announcements on big events. People who are interested in daily, well, they get maybe a daily or a weekly reminder to sign up. And again, I mentioned on the yoga class that click segmentation. Let's take a closer look at how that really works. When you build the email, what you want to do is right here with this button, you can enable, when you put the link, this is where they're going, you can enable click segmentation, and then you can decide which list they go on after they click. And so on that yoga newsletter, if they clicked on the link, they would get taken to the different page that had information on the Bikram or Vinyasa yoga, but you now knew that was what they were interested in, so you could send them more of the same. And then again, as people click, they end up on the right list. You can also create segments based on different types of interaction. And this is, I think, really cool because it goes the step beyond. You can create a segment of people who have clicked on any one of your last 5 emails, or a segment of people who haven't opened any of your last 5 emails. You can select the list that they're on. You can do it for all or some of your email lists. I use this every now and then. I will do anyone who hasn't opened an email from me in 6 months. And I'll send them an email and it'll say, hey, I noticed you haven't opened an email in 6 months. Do you want me to take you off the list? Click here to unsubscribe. And interestingly enough, very few people really do unsubscribe. But those that do, I'm okay. Why? Because they really weren't interested. On the other hand, I have a lot of people who come back and say, oh no, please keep me on your list. I've just been busy. And it gets them re-engaged. I can select people who opened certain emails, and then I can forward them other content that's related. I can review members. So this is my low engagement list. I get a list of people who haven't opened up. And in this case, there was 680 or 655 contacts. And in this instance, I didn't send them a letter right away. I actually went and looked at how long somebody had been on my list, because my email list is 20 years old. And so there are people, if they haven't opened an email from me in 6 months and they joined my list 10 years ago, I'm assuming they're no longer interested. However, if they're a recent addition, I'm going to follow up and say, hey, you took my class. What are you thinking? And engage with them differently. And I can send them those personalized emails based on the groups that they ended up in. So let's recap really quickly. You want to start with people's names. You want to segment by interest and send, personalized content. So I know I whipped through that really quickly. I do want to, let's see if I can, there we go. There's my mouse. I do want to let you know that in the handouts, there is a buyer's guide, a beginner's guide to customer personas, and you can definitely download that. It will help you as you're trying to create your personal email. And now's a great time for questions if you have them.